Hello everybody and welcome back to day 129 of 100 days of code. In this video we're going to be working on the VueJS of our blog application or web app. So in the last video we created the Surfer API for this blog, and we're going to be using that, not in this video, the API. We're not going to be using the API, we're not binding the Vue with the API in this video. We're just going to create the design, which as you can see is right here. We're going to create this design in VueJS. We'll be using Sass and a few other things with our VueJS project. And let's get straight into it, guys. So as you can see, there's a few elements here. So the first one is our logo. Again, it's always in that top left corner. The title text here with 2 extra elements, kind of like what we did in our over here with the content creator and web developer sections. Oh, I keep doing the wrong thing. And then a little search box which we'll hook up in the next video hopefully. And then we have this latest post section with a grid style, masonry grid style area, and then this see more button, which again can be hooked up in the next one. When you click on this, it will load some more posts. Let's get crack on. So let's go over, first things first, let's go over to the web browser, and here I've got in here the CLI. We're going to be using the Vue CLI to manage our Vue.js project, and we're going to be using the Vue UI element of this. And there's a few requirements first to actually install the Vue CLI. First, you need the node you need node, and you need a minimum version of 8.9. If you followed along with my tutorial yesterday about node.js, Node.js, you would know that you would know how to install Node, and it comes with the Node package manager. And then once you have installed that, you can just run npm install inside of your terminal, like so. You would just copy that, bring it over here, paste it in, and hit enter. I've already got it installed, so I'm not going to do that. But one thing you can do, if that doesn't work and you get a permission error, you can try sudoing it and then putting in your password once you hit enter. Once that is installed, you can then run Vue UI, and that is going to start up your graphical user interface. Here it is. So let's go back to the home, and we're going to create a new project, and we're going to go inside of projects, 100 days of code, and where are we? Day 29 blog, and we're going to click create a new project here, and we're just going to call it blog. We're going to create a Git, because we're going to put this one onto a GitHub link for you later on. That will be in the description below. So we're going to hit next, and we're going to use the default preset, and we're going to hit create project, and we're going to wait for this to do, and then I'll see you once that's done. Okay guys, so now that has been set up, and this is the screen you'd be greeted with. I just want to say, if you haven't already, if you don't know what Vue is, and you don't know what if we go to our code and we look in here and you don't know what the source is or any of these files in here are, I suggest you go back to one of my previous videos. It is called VueJS Basics, I believe. And that will teach you how to, what I think is how to install it and how to use the fundamentals of Vue.js. In this tutorial, we're not going to be going over that stuff because I've already went over in previous videos. So first things, let's go into dependencies and install our Sass. We need to use them as dev dependencies, and we're going to type in Sass, and we're going to click Node Sass and hit install. Okay, Node Sass installed. We're also going to hit install dependency again, and we're going to this time type in Sass one last time, and we're going to install the Sass loader. Okay guys, so Sass loader and Node Sass are installed as development dependencies, so that is all we need for those. So if we head over into tasks and we hit surf, we can then hit run task, and it's going to surf our files to the browser for us on a local host. Once that has ran, it also uses hot reloading, so every time we edit the files, it will automatically update, and we don't need to refresh the page. To open up the application, we can hit here open app, but if that isn't available, you can click in here and go to this link here, the local link. But I'm going to hit the open app, and that is going to open it up here, and actually this is the welcome to your Vue app. So this is the boilerplate you get when you first use the Vue CLI. If you come into our code now, and we can now go into hello world, so this component, and we can hit delete. Again, we've done this in our previous tutorials. I suggest go back and watch them if you're unsure of what we're doing here. Next up, I'm just going to quickly format my code by changing it to tabs and indent size of 4. We can also remove hello world because that is not needed, and we can remove the import as well and this component because we've completely removed all of those. The logo is also not necessary, and all we need right now is this screen right here. What we want to do is we can delete all of this, and we can type in body, and I'm going to say background color is equal to f3 f3 f3. We're going to also go up here and say lang equal to sass, and it's going to be scoped. Actually, this is not going to be scoped, sorry. So the language means sass, and this just says we're going to be using SCSS to compile our what's in between these tags. We're going to go hashtag app, and we're going to actually, we don't need to use that. We're just going to say font family, and we're going to say here Rockwell serif. Yeah, we're just going to go, no, not sans serif, just serif for now. We could import Rockwell as a Google font just so it doesn't run out, but at the minute it's on our local machine and this will work fine, or on my local machine. If you do not have this, you can choose another font, or you can go to fonts.google and import them. Again, we have done this in previous tutorials, so I'm not going to go over that. We're going to go to a H3, and we're just going to set some basic styling because I found this is going to be used the most out of our things. We're going to say F171717. We're going to say font size of 28 pixels and a font weight of 700 pixels. 700 pixels, 700, just 700, and that stands for bold. The reason we're doing this now is because if you look at the design, we have multiple. These are going to be our H3 tags, and we're going to have multiple of these going down our blog page. But for now, it's just going to cater for this one. So if we go, so that's completely fine now. That's all working. In our component, actually in our assets, we're going to remove this logo, and I am going to drop in all the assets we will need for this tutorial. Okay, guys, as you can see, I've dropped in all the assets we will need. For now, we don't need to worry about those just yet, but they are in there. Inside of components, we're going to create a new component, and we'll call it header.vue. Inside here, we're going to create a template, and we're just going to put in here header tags for just this moment. We're going to then create script tags with JavaScript, and we're going to give it a name of header. We're then going to go down to here, and we're going to get a style of Sass, and this one is going to be scoped. So that is fine. Now in app.vue, we want to come in here and we want to import the header. So we're going to say import header from, and we're going to say /components / header. And what that is going to do is get our header.vue component. And then in components, we're going to say header, and then we're also going to do the exact same header as HTML tags inside of our template. So now that should be done. So now anything we write inside here, like hello world, and we hit save and we come over here, should be rendered to our DOM. We need a few, so inside header we want a few things. We want a div of left with an image with the class of logo. On the outside, the source is going to be /assets back logo.svg, and this is just going to be TP. I'm going to break these tags down so they're not as annoying and look a bit prettier. After that, we're also going to have a center tag, and in here we're going to have a div of title. Inside here we're going to have a h3 with top, and we're going to say inside, oh that's inist, inside, and under that we're going to say h1 Tyler Potts with a apostrophe at the end, and then we're going to say h3.bottom, and this one's going to say mind. If you weren't following along, so this is what we're doing right now. We've just done the logo. We're just adding in this inside Tyler Potts and then mind as 3 separate elements, so we can then align them correctly once we come down to styling this. We're going to do a right now, and we're going to do a label for, and we're just going to say search bar. Inside of here, we're going to have 2 elements. We're going to have an image, and it's going to again be /assets/search icon.png, and then we're not going to have an alt, but we are going to have a class of icon. What this is saying here is, again, you know how an image tag works, so that is that, but we're giving it a class for icon, and this icon is inside of our assets. As in our design, it's this little icon up here. We are then going to create the input with an ID of search bar. We're also going to have a name of search bar and a placeholder equal to type to search, just like our design. I'm going to hide the left column there, and that should be done for our header markup. In our CSS, however, we now want to write in here header, and we're going to display it as flex. We're going to say justify content center, and we're going to give it a padding of 50 pixels, 50 pixels, 25 pixels. Just to give it a bit of padding. Now, if we look at what this looks like, it looks a bit broken, right? So we need to fix that. We need to go down into our dot left, and we're going to say flex 1. We're then going to say dot logo, and we're going to say width of 75 pixels. Underneath that, we're going to go to center, and we're going to say h3. So this is where we're going to add some extra styling to these h3s. So we're going to say font size 32 pixels, font style of italic, font weight of 400, and margin of 0. We are then going to go on to the h1, and we're going to say a color of 171717, a font size of 72 pixels, and a margin of 0. Now, if we go back and we have a look at this, it's starting to look a bit better, but again, there's still a few flaws with this. Inside our h3 tag, we need to go and dot bottom, and we need to say text align right. Underneath the center tags, we can put in here right, and we want to say flex 1. Now, if we look back at this, this is starting to look a bit better now. The header looks good, the logo is in a good position. We just need to sort out our search bar now. And we're going to do that by going display flex, justify content, flex end. Just a quick way to move that to the end of the page. We're going to go to label, and we're going to say position relative. We're going to say display block and width of 300 pixels by a height of 35 pixels. Just while we do that, I'm going to have a look, check that is definitely, yeah, that is 300 by 35. I just want to make sure I'm doing the right measurements. And in here, we're going to go input, I'm going to say width 100%, and again, height of 35 pixels. Actually, the height here can be auto, or you don't need to input a height. Inside here, we're going to say background color, and we want to set it to white so it contrasts with our slightly light grey background color. And we're going to give it a box shadow of 2 pixels, 2 pixels, 8 pixels, 0 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.2. So again, that's just going to add a bit of shadow around it. Again, that's not perfect. We will fix that in a second. We're going to add margin of 0 to this, just so it resets the margin. We're going to have a padding of 5 pixels, 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 35 pixels. And you'll understand why I'm adding 35 pixels to the left of the box in a moment. And we're going to just do a box sizing of border box. We're also going to set the appearance to none, because as you can see, it's got this weird appearance to it right now. And we're going to set a border of none, an outline of none. We're also going to set the color to 171717 and the font family, because it's not going to pull it from our head, and we're going to set this to Rockwell and then serif for our font stack. We're going to say font size of 16 pixels, and we're going to go placeholder. Oh, hello, that's one extra. We'll say placeholder of the color of 888. Hey, that's looking a lot better. We now want to go underneath here, and we want to go dot icon, because we want to move this icon into position, and we're going to say position absolute. Oh, that's nice. We'll say position absolute, width of 25 pixels, and margin of 5 pixels. Now this should move into position nicely. So there we go, that is now in position and everything looks good. So just to recap on what we've just done, we've just created the header, we've added a padding to the edge of this header and a little bit underneath to move the latest post down a little bit. We've created this inside Tyler Potts' mind title by adding 3 elements inside of a container, one called inside, one called Tyler Potts, and one called mine, 2 h3 tags and the main h1 tag. And we've set a few styles on here and floated or text aligned the mines to the right. We've then created the type to search box. Inside of the type to search box, we have gone and added this icon, which is just a little like magnifying glass, I guess, and then added the type to search text into the box, and that is what is being represented in this front end development here from VueJS. And just to go over the code, this is kind of basically what we've done. There's the markup, we've exported it here, and we've imported it inside of our app.vue. Okay, so now that is done, we need to work on the latest posts section of this website, which is quite straightforward, although the grid system obviously can get very confusing, which I'm here to help guide you with. So now back in our file system, we want to go components and we want to add latest.vue, and inside here we are going to add a template of HTML, of course, and a section with the class of latest, and for now we're just going to write in here latest. We're then going to go script with JavaScript, and we'll give it a name of latest. And we're going to give it a style with Sass and scoped, and we're not going to write anything just yet. Now if we go back to our app, we now can import this by we're copying our header line there, the import header bit, and we're going to change this to latest and latest, and that is as simple as that. And then in components we're also going to write in latest, and now we can use our component inside of our app, and if we refresh, or we don't refresh because it auto refreshes, latest is now written there. So if we go back to our latest view, we can delete this latest text right now. And we want to actually create a h3 which says latest posts, and then we want to create a posts diff. We're not going to fill that out yet, we're going to do a bit of styling first. Inside the this, we're going to say latest, and we're going to say display block with a width of 100% but a max width of 1280 pixels. We're going to say margin 0 auto, and then we're going to go posts, we're going to say display grid, and inside of the grid, so this is where things start getting a bit more complicated. So when we write the grid out, we're going to say in here, we've first got to define the grid template columns, and the grid template columns, you can do multiple things. You can define like 15 pixels, 100 pixels, 100 pixels, 15 pixels, or something similar to that, and that will give you a 15 by 100 by 100 by 15 grid. columns, that is. But we can also do something called repeat, and what repeat does is allow you to write in how many columns you want. So we're going to say 4, and then how big each column is, which is one fraction of the container, which would be posts. We're then going to say grid template rows, and we're going to do the same. We're going to say repeat, but this time we're only going to have 3 rows, which are going to be 196 pixels each. The reason we're giving this 196 pixels is because it matches nice with our 1280 grid when it shrinks down. Once it shrinks down, we will have to change this, but we'll worry about responsiveness another time. We're also going to do something called grid gap, and what grid gap does is allow you to add a gutter to the in between the columns and rows, and we're going to give that a 30 pixels. We're also going to give it a margin of 15 pixels so it has an even distribution around each post. And now inside here we're going to say post, and we're not going to style this yet because we actually need to create our posts. So as you can see, latest post now moved over slightly, but we now need to create our posts. And there's a few things we want to do. We're going to go dot post. So this would be dynamic so this normally would be dynamic, but at the minute we're not connected to our API. So at the minute this is just going to be hand or hard coded into the VueJS. And dot post, we're going to go dot image for the first one, and we're going to write in the image. Actually, no, we won't do that, but yeah, we're just going to write in the post, and we're going to give it a h4, and we're going to say plan ahead, because that is our first post in our design. We're then going to give it another post, and this second post will also have a h4 that says VueJS fundamentals. But inside of our post, we're also going to give it a class of col2 and row2, and you'll find out why soon. We're then going to do our next post, which is going to have a row of 2, and it's going to have a h4, which says everything wrong with AI. And we're going to have another post. Oh, we've done that row 2 wrong, sorry, there needs to be a hyphen there. We're going to have another post, and this one's going to be post.row-2, again the same similar thing. And we're going to have h4, and in our h4 it's going to be hashtag 100 days of code, representing 100 days of code, what we're doing right now. The next post will be a simple, just straight up post, and it's going to have a h4 that says node package manager. And I don't know why I broke the tags down there. I'm going to put them back on the same line. We're going to have the last post which says posts, and it's going to say col2, and h4 which says learn to take a break. So let's go and add some. So if we actually come back and we hit refresh, plan ahead is the only thing which is showing. I'm not sure why this isn't compiling correctly. Oh, sorry, these are not inside the right. I realize these are not inside the posts. They need to be basically inside the, the posts container. And there we go. Now they're in there. They're in there quite evenly, but we want to change that up. So we see we've added these col2s and the row2s inside of post. We're going to go dot col2, and we're going to say grid column, and we're going to say span 2. And what this is saying, so anything with a post with a class of col2, it's going to say grid column. So find the grid column and span it across 2 of those. So find its current position and then make sure it goes across 2. We're then going to say and.row2, and we'll say grid row, and we're going to say span 2 also, so it spans 2 vertically as well. And now once we come back here, as you can see, things have moved around. You can't really see anything though, so let's style our posts up so you can actually see what's going on. We're just going to add 2 simple things. So we're going to say background color, and we're going to give it pure white. And then we're going to also say box shadow, and we're going to give that 3 pixels, 3 pixels, 8 pixels, 0 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.2. And if we save that and we come back, now you can see exactly how it is, and now that is looking exactly like how our design is done. And as you can see, this is the 30 pixel column gap we gave the grid, the templates up here. So that is looking good. We now want to style up we actually want to say in here, display flex, and we're going to say flex direction column, because we're going to sort that out in a moment. In here we also want to say H3 or H4, sorry, and we want to say box sizing, box sizing of border box. We want to say padding of 3 pixels, 15 pixels, 0 pixels, and 15 pixels. I'm going to then say height of 50 pixels, a line height of 50 pixels, and a margin of 0 pixels. And that has moved it nicely into the center. But again, that doesn't look like our design. We actually need to incorporate our image next. So we're going to add the styling for the image. Now we're going to say .image, and we're going to say flex1, background position center, background size cover, and background repeat no repeat. And now we're going to add in the images. And in our first one, we're going to say .image, and we're going to add a style, but we're using this like colon here to say we're binding the style. So it's not like normally writing out a style attribute. We're actually using VueJS's built-in bind to bind in this style. So we can use some JavaScript here. We're going to go here, and we're going to write some curly brace, and we're going to say background image, and it's going to have 2 backticks. We're going to use backticks, and we're going to say URL, and we're going to say dollar back curly braces, so we can write some more script, and we're going to say require, and we're going to write in here assets, and then we're going to say /post 1 image at 2 times at 2x.png. We're also going to add, is it extra comments? And save that. And now if we come back in here, as you can see, the image has been added. So we're just going to copy this and paste it in for each individual post, and then we're going to change each one. So this one's going to be 6, this is going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, and then we've already done 1. So now once that loads, everything is looking good. So now that is looking much better and looking very similar to our design. Also, in our header, I have noticed that we don't actually add any padding to the bottom of this. We actually allow it to sit right underneath the latest post because it's not clashing at all with it. So that is how that is going to work. So now that is this part done. So the final part is the button, and we're going to create, wrong section. In here we're going to go into our components, and we're going to create one called post.view, and inside post.view we're going to say template with HTML, and we're going to say .posts. Inside of post we're going to give a button with the class of load, and we're going to say see more. I know we're using posts again in here, but because this has got the scoped selector on this, or the post scoped attribute, that means none of this post will affect our posts in here. We're going to create a script with JavaScript. We're going to say name of posts. We're going to then say style sass scoped as always. We're going to say .posts, and I'm going to say width, width of 100% and a max width of 1280 pixels. We're then going to say margin of 0 or margin of 50 pixels auto this time. and we're going to go dot load, and we're going to say display block with a width of 100%, a max width of 250 pixels, a height of 50 pixels, then a margin of 0, auto to center it. We're then going to say outline none, border none, border radius 15 pixels, and appearance none. We're then going to say background, and we're going to say background color, and we're going to say FFCE00, which is our background color. We're then going to say box shadow, and this is going to be 3 pixels, 3 pixels, 8 pixels, 0 pixels, RGBA 000 0.2. We're going to say color of 1717, and the font family of Rockwell and serif. That's our font stack or fallback, and we're going to say font size of 28 pixels. And now if we hit, well, we didn't have to hit refresh, but if we, oh, that's right, we need to actually go to our app and we need to import this post. So we're going to call this posts, and we're going to say posts, and in here we're going to say posts, and now inside here we can say posts /, and there we go, that's our button. But as you see, the text is slightly offline, so let's fix that. Let's go back into our posts, and we're going to say down at the bottom here, we're going to say padding top of 7 pixels and a box sizing of border box. Now if we hit save and we go back, actually it's now all lined up. And I believe that is, so this is now the design done in VueJS. Everything is all done, everything's looking good. In the next video, guys, we are going to be including our Node.js API, and we're going to add it in here. And then after that video, I believe we'll be working on the Node.js, or the blog post admin system. So a place inside this VueJS platform where we can access and get the contents. So we're going to be able to go in, upload new, we're going to be able to create new posts, upload images and stuff like that. So that is something we're going to be doing in the next video. But for now, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more, then hit that subscribe button, and if you have any feedback, leave it in the comments. I know this video was slightly different to how I've normally done them. This one was a lot more fast paced, but at the same time I believe I did explain pretty much everything which needed to be explained, which we haven't done in other videos. The reason I wanted to get this one out of the way quick is because I want to be able to start working on the next part, which is actually the fun part, where we actually start making this dynamic. So this content won't be hard-coded no more. It'll actually come from the server once we set up the image handling and the adding content and stuff into it. And then we need to create a blog post. So when you click on one of these, we need to decide how we're going to display that blog post. We can do it in a pop-up mode, or we can do it in a new page, etc. So we'll see how that works. Okay, guys, I don't think there is anything else we need to cover in this video. So if you haven't already, check out our Discord server. We're welcoming anybody and everybody to the group. It's a place for people with all skills levels and knowledge. People are, if you want to teach other people, then you can join in. If you want to learn, then you can also join in. So again, guys, the link's in the description for that. Check it out. Also, check out the GitHub link for this VueJS files. You'll find them in the description also. And other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and peace out.